What does Cyber Dragon need to be competitive? In this video, we're going to chat about it. There was a great conversation going on in the YouTube comments on my previous video. What does Cyber Dragons really need though? Core search is Cyber Spell and Trap. They have 2 reinforcement of the armies. So we have Cyber Emergency and Cyber Repair Plant. We have Power Bond and Overload Fusion, which are both searchable. Rampage is an OTK for days, correct. Core, Hers, and Nacho love Machine Dupe. Nova can help extend. Infinity is great Omnigate removal, and their ability to contact fuse to break boards is amazing. But they're not top tier. Why? With all this power, what is holding the deck back? So what do Cyber Dragons need? When you lay out what Cyber Dragons has, it sounds great. They have everything. But in reality, it's how the deck flows together, and relatively with what other decks can do, Cyber Dragons is very inconsistent and it can't do it as well as others. There were some great responses to this video, so we'll definitely highlight some of them. One comment in response to that was A. Lamau. He mentioned how the deck was kind of slow and not enough starters. Technically, yeah, we have about 6 starters. If you count Repair Plant, maybe 7, 8, but you can't really count as a starter because it needs something else to initiate the play. If you play the Cyber Dark package, you can have like 9 starters or 12 up to that. I wouldn't say Cyber Dark Claw and Cybernetic Horizon are also starters because Cybernetic Horizon needs a lot just to get core to the hand. He mentions Evolution Endburst, which technically does search out Overload Fusion, but yes, it is an absolute meme trash card. It is a fun card, don't get me wrong, it's fun. But for actual competitiveness, it's pretty bad. He also mentions about Power Bond, how it is searchable, and I do think it's not a bad search. It could be a lot better, but I think it's almost fair for what it does. But yeah, Chimera dies to disruption so easily. Sure, Naxter can revive it, but it's just rough out there. One thing I want to note too, is this might be a good time to bring it up, is we also have to be realistic with what we want with Cyber Dragons, because Rampage with Power Bond it's just like an auto win if your opponent can't stop it or do anything. So we also can't make this deck too good where it's like you can just Power Bond in 1 turn and you also have the 80,000 damage on the board just by Power Bond and 2 Cyber Dragon monsters. So I almost feel like the Chimera package is in a sense somewhat fair, but again, I'm not an expert or anything. I want the deck to be good. I just don't want it to be tier 0 where things start getting banned. I think that'd just be unfun. Nova and Infinity are great cards. Infinity is really good, but getting that card out is rough. You need usually Galaxy Soldiers or Machine Dupe to do it. So spoiler alert, one of the things we want in this deck is just some way to more consistently get to our rank 5 plays that don't use like outside cards. We want a Cyber Dragon card that actually does this or helps for us. Red Now Velgus mentioned that if we get a Link 1 Cyber Dragon that at least searches or does something, that'd be pretty good. If we could get a card like a Link 1 that replaces Almirage, it'd be a lot better just for the archetype. Really, we only use Almirage to send Hers or something to the graveyard to like kind of continue our play. So it's kind of, I'm to use it as an extender, but we need Almirage in the extra deck to do some dumb stuff. Like, why can't that be actually a good Cyber Dragon card? He also mentioned bringing back Barrier and Laser. We need a good Cyber Dragon Barrier and Cyber Dragon Laser updated card. They're some of the coolest cards in the game and they're trash. We need a modernized version. That would make me incredibly happy. Last comment we're going to talk about is again mentioning another Link 5 play or a Link 5 card. Also, a level 5 effect monster would be great too that replaces Galaxy Soldier, because Galaxy Soldier again is good, but it's a Galaxy monster, not a Cyber Dragon monster. We need a card that helps us with our rank 5 plays that replaces Galaxy Soldier. Some things I want to keep in mind though is, again, why is Cyber Dragons bad? Ash kills the deck because you Ash Core, Ash Cyber Emergency, and the game's over. You just lose. So we need a way to play through at least 1 negate. And there are some, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you can play through a negate, but also you are going second. So you also oftentimes have to play through not only a negate, but you have to play through multiple disruptions. Typically, you're not going to be able to play through more than 1 or 2 negates in the Cyber Dragon deck. Especially if you're going with the Power Bond build. If you get negated or disrupted with your Chimera trying to search Power Bond, you're just in such a bad spot. Cyber Dragons is a going second deck. I'm fine with that. But the problem is if we get forced to go first, it's almost an auto lose. We can't really set up really anything consistently. Kind of getting back to what we were talking about, having a way to consistently get Infinity on the board, so at least we get some negate would be nice, but also maybe having a separate card that is specifically designed for us to go first would also be kind of beneficial. Just something for us to play if we are forced to go first that's built into the archetype. That'd be good. Some people are mentioning some boss monsters and other things like that, but we don't need any other big Cyber Dragons. We need smaller, like a baby Cyber Dragon, or just something we can easily summon, like a Link 1 that we can consistently and efficiently get out to help us get to our boss monsters, because we already got Rampage, we got Cyber Twin, got Cyber End Dragon. We don't need another big boy. We need something that helps us get to those big boys more consistently. Bringing together everything we discussed and kind of putting some realistic standards on what a card design actually would be without it being too overpowered. A Link 1 and Link 2 play are probably the most ideal cards that we would hope to get. This Link 1 play would replace Almirage, which is just kind of a dead space in the extra deck. I was thinking that the summoning requirements would only be one Cyber Dragon or Cyber Dragon monster. I was thinking when it's summoned, you get to summon one Cyber Dragon from your deck. I think specifically Cyber Dragon would be a little bit not overpowered, because if it was Cyber Dragon monster, it might be a little crazy. But a Cyber Dragon specifically from the deck, keeping it pretty conservative, or some Cyber spell from deck to hand, something like that. Just some way that if Hor or Hers, Naxter, someone gets negated, at least we can link it away and then kind of continue our play in some extent without it being too overpowered. To me, that is completely realistic. You can make it a Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. Maybe not, because if it's too overpowered, I don't know, Konami likes putting restrictions on Cyber Dragons. You could also make it 500 attack to be a machine dupe target, but also I don't know if that'd be too crazy. But yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Just some Link 1 play, replace Almirage and get another Cyber Dragon or just some other Cyber spell deck to hand. The next monster would be a Link 2 play probably, or it doesn't have to be a Link 2 play, but just some other monster in the deck that's going to help us get to our level 5s. So the idea is this would replace Galaxy Soldier and possibly Machine Dupe. I guess this is going to help thin our deck out with cards that maybe brick, like Machine Dupe can brick. But if we have a specific monster, like a Cyber Dragon monster, that takes the place of those cards, that would be incredibly beneficial. I was also thinking that maybe this prevents us from fusioning someone, because it'd be kind of overpowered to, you know, let's say link into this or play a Cyber Dragon and also get another one on the field, and also you're power bonding. And I just don't want things to be too overpowered. And I know because Cyber Dragons can be very explosive, having the ability to summon even one extra Cyber Dragon from like the deck or just somewhere else is very powerful if you're running a lot of power bonds. I think a restriction like that would help make it more fair if you only restrict it to, let's say, machine Xyz monsters. As long as we're able to more consistently get out Infinity, I think that's a really big bonus. I definitely want to hear some of your guys' thoughts down below what Cyber Dragon actually needs. I know we already had a pretty long discussion in the other video, but this is a dedicated video to kind of, you know, put all of our thoughts into, I guess, one comment section. If you're looking for some other videos to chat about this, check out Team Set Pass's video. At about 34 minutes is when he starts discussing, you know, future designs for Cyber Dragons. He's definitely the most knowledgeable guy on YouTube that deals with Cyber Dragons, especially from a competitive perspective. So definitely his ideas are a lot better than mine, but it's still fun and enjoyable to get different perspectives and chat about the topic. Stay tuned for next video. I'm going to be chatting and rating some custom Cyber Dragon cards, kind of similar to what we did in this video, but more of what people actually designed because they thought it was cool. See you later.